In Star Wars, how many members sit on the Jedi High Council?
In which phase?
What?
We don't have a budget to do more than just a basic Google search, so
Yeah, I mean, there could be. I think in number 2, before they all get murdered, there's like 15 people on it, and then it ends up being like 2 after that because there's no more Jedi that are alive.
Disturbing is this move by Chancellor Palpatine.
What if the time-consuming parts of accounting just handled themselves? That's the idea behind Stack by Ramp, an AI-native platform that lets you deploy agents to do the repetitive work. Reconciliations, journal entries, flux analysis, your processes, your rules, your clients. You decide where it runs on its own and where it stops for your review. We personally at Specialized Accounting tested this out on a couple of our clients while it was in beta and saved over 50% of our monthly time on certain bookkeeping clients. And they've got the data to prove it. Ramp evaluated Stack against 200 plus real accounting tasks built and graded by working accountants, yours truly included, and it outpaces the general purpose models. So start your free 3-month trial at ramp.com/unaccountable.
Welcome to UnAccountable, the world's okayest accounting game show podcast for product news, updates, and education. I am your main stage manager of a host, Tyler Otto, and I'm joined by the primetime presenter, Jeremy Van Grohl, which by the time this drops, we will have finished our main stage at Woodard. Hopefully, they haven't blacklisted us.
Yeah, and for our one new listener, welcome. Thank you for joining on our freight train.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Double digits, Jeremy. That listenership's coming soon.
Ooh, yes, it is. I'm going to cash in. Ha!
Jeremy, I don't want to waste much time because, man, we got a great guest this week. Spoiler alert, we already talked to him, so really cool stuff coming. But I wanted to jump into one quick into news thing this week before we do. Karbon released their annual report. Now, in years past, you and I are familiar with this, the state of the industry report they did. It was, several years ago, it was all about like how much cloud stuff you're doing or how much outsourcing. And now the report is called the state of AI in accounting. They're just, like everyone, it's just AI, right. AI everywhere. And this is a long report. There's so much to go through. There's nothing shocking about it in terms of firms that use it more are getting much more productivity, and smaller firms are adopting quicker, and some are reporting more job satisfaction. But one of the most interesting graphs I wanted to talk about with you is a graph near the bottom of page 12 where they asked all the firms about all the things they're doing to using AI for. Number one, you shouldn't be surprised. It was, communication, drafting emails, whatnot, doing meeting transcripts, which I don't even know if some of us consider that AI these days, but hey, whatever. And, research is the other item. But what was interesting is they asked what tools people are using as their favorite bot. Jeremy, what would you guess is the top AI tool they reported in this survey?
And this is for 2025, right?
Yes.
Because I feel like Claude has made light years of gains over the last 5 months, right?
You're already catching the trick here.
I would guess ChatGPT.
You are correct, sir. And what was interesting here is, yes, I was first looking at this as well and thinking where's Claude? Oh yeah, they weren't cool yet. Any guess on what number 2 is?
Quark, maybe Gemini.
You are never going to get this one. Okay. Who put out this report?
It's Karbon's report, right?
So Karbon AI is the second most used. Talk about listenership or who you sent the survey to bias. I'm sorry, you should have left your own name out of there because that's it's like asking people that show up to a bar what their favorite drink is when they go out. Of course they're going to say alcohol versus you go to Alcoholics Anonymous meeting, you're going to hear milk or something else.
Yeah, right.
But I also thought was interesting, rounding out the list was Copilot in third, Gemini, and then interestingly enough, Grammarly and Dext, rounding out the non-Karbon top 5.
So that means you have Grammarly tied into your email probably, and it's fixing words for you. I don't know what else.
I guess, and help drafting emails, and Dext, which I don't know if I would consider Dext AI, considering it's just been the same receipt capture software for years.
Yeah,
I'm very shocked by this.
I was scorned by Dext a long time ago, so they may have to be doing all sorts of new things, but I'm ignoring them at this point. Unless you want to sponsor Dext, I'll get right back in there.
Great clarification.
Yeah.
All that being said, if you guys want to read it, it's actually a really good article with use cases, how they're using it. But the biggest issue I have is like, this is such a great report they've put out over the years. But in this day and age, it was 2025 data. And it feels like now half this report is irrelevant because so much is changing at such an insane clip. It's almost like, some of the stats are no longer helpful.
Right. Yeah. And that's the world we live in now. You get these things. And if you don't get it out in February, maybe the latest probably for 2025, like you would expect with financial statements, things like that. It's just aged so much at that point. Yeah.
So it's going to be hard to keep up in this industry, but go out there, folks. Give it a view. It's a good one. But Jeremy, shall we do it?
Let's do it.
Jeremy, I'm so excited to bring a fellow Utahn onto the show this week because I know you don't love Utah in general. And so giving you a double dose of it just makes me all the happier. And that's why I'm excited to bring on our next guest, who I would argue is just like, he embodies my goals in life of where I want to get to in a couple years. I mean, maybe I won't have as much facial hair, but beyond that, I am excited to welcome to the show Dan Luthi, partner, part owner, COO, like guru of Ignite Spot Counting. You have your other firm. You're on every single council out there, which we'll get into. Just welcome to the show, Dan Luthi.
No, I appreciate it. Thanks for inviting me, and I put on a good facade of what you want to be in the future. So hopefully we can all get there together. So
yeah. You seem wholesome. You seem like you know what you're doing. And, that's good enough for us.
Yeah. I think we're all trying, right?
I'm here to taint all the Utahns. Utahns? I don't know.
Utonians.
But regardless, well, Dan, I'm excited because you know what you're getting yourself into. And I don't want to spoil any of the answers. So dare I say, let's go right into the intro.
Let's go.
Welcome to Fast Figures. 10 questions, 1 minute-ish. All answers are numbers. The game starts now.
1 minute on the clock. Here we go. What federal income tax form is a partnership required to file every year?
Sheesh. Let's go with 1065.
At a fully set dinner table, how many forks should be set?
Ooh. 3.
In Star Wars, how many members sit on the Jedi High Council?
In which phase?
We don't have a budget to do more than just a basic Google search. So
yeah, I mean, there could be. I think in number 2, before they all get murdered, there's like 15 people on it, and then it ends up being like 2 after that because there's no more Jedi that are alive.
All right, so we'll round it out.
So that's the only answer I've answered well, I think, so far up to this point.
At what age does a child become too old to be claimed under the child tax credit?
Oh, geez, shit. I'm not a tax accountant. I love these questions. Let's go with, I think everything's dependent, so it goes up to 26, right?
In the movie Forrest Gump, how many legs did our favorite veteran, Lieutenant Dan, lose?
Both.
How many inches are there between rungs on a standard ladder?
10.
A typical bachelor's degree for most U.S. universities require how many credit hours to complete to graduation?
Ooh, 120.
A standard piece of plywood comes in how many feet long?
8.
How many pancakes are in a short stack at IHOP?
3.
The Shane Company is located at the corner of State Street and what?
And 7200 South. Open Saturday or Monday through Saturday, closed Sundays.
That last question I just had to throw in to see if you're a true Utahn.
Yeah,
I'll
absolutely.
debrief that one. But everyone, if you grew up in Utah, you know that address. It was on every radio commercial, on every station for 25. Dan, when I moved to Salt Lake, it was almost a moment, like being at the corner of State and 7200, like, it's really here.
Yeah, 100%.
So sorry, I had to.
Yeah.
Jeremy, you didn't care about that at all.
I didn't, but I did care how there was 0 wait time before you knew the short stack on pancakes. I was like, 3, guaranteed. Let's go on.
Yeah, you're like, tax questions, not trusting this guy's opinion. But if we're getting pancakes, I know this guy knows what we're doing. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I absolutely.
Hey, I respect it. All right. Well, Dan, let's go through and see how you did. And first off, starting with, what I thought was kind of an easy one. What income tax form does a partnership file every year? You correctly said a 1065. And I ask you about this because you at Ignite Spot, you have partners. Now, Jeremy and I are both solo firm owners. We've often talked about how lonely business ownership is by yourself. What is having a partner provided to you that solo firm operators like us just don't get to experience?
There's a couple of things that I think have been really awesome with it over the years. And sometimes it's just having someone to commiserate with when you're going through a difficult time, or when you're like, there's something really exciting that you're trying to figure out, and you have those people to connect with and talk with very quickly, and they have the same goals, same motivations. Like, that give and take is really, really nice. And of course, on the opposite side, it's oftentimes really difficult when you don't mesh up exactly with where you want to go. And so as a solopreneur, you get to make that decision. You're like, whether I'm right or wrong, like, we're going in this direction. And partnerships, you have to get buy off to be able to navigate down each path. So there's definitely pros and cons to each of that.
Did you start with a partner when you started the organization, or did you bring one in? I think those are different situations too.
Yeah, really good question. I started out as a bookkeeper at this firm. So the majority owner for partner, his name's Eddie Hood. He had 100% of it up until about 5 years ago. And then Ryan and I, which is our other partner, we both have all kind of worked together for the last 15, 16 years. And so we ended up getting equity, and now we own about 15% each. So we both all came together in kind of over time as a part of it, versus all starting at the exact same time.
Yeah.
Okay. Way to go, Jeremy, for ruining my ladder question about him climbing the ladder in his company.
Dang. Oh, I'm sorry. Anyway.
Love that question too. So happy to go over that one.
We'll get there. Question 2. At a fully set dinner table, how many forks should be set? You correctly said 3. And this was just a question to see if you're classier than Jeremy and I. Like, you don't belong here. Jeremy just often uses a knife, and his clean-ish hand is what you've said, Jeremy. Is that right?
Yeah, clean-ish.
Is it the left hand every time, or is it? Yeah, I like it.
So,
at least it's consistent.
Sometimes I like to change things up.
Question 3. In Star Wars, how many members sit on the Jedi High Council?
May the Force be with you.
While you went through an amazing list, Dr. Google said 12. Apparently 6 permanent and 6 revolving. Again, you're probably right, because the story moves, but we're gonna be jerks here.
Afraid, are you?
But I ask about councils because, let's name them. Intuit and like all 3 of their councils: Mercury, Gusto, Bill, Rippling, Ramp. I think you're on Relay, right?
I do. I'm on Relays with you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I do one with the AICPA and one with CPA.com as well too.
So talk about a man that's been on advisory councils. I want to pick your brain about why. Like, why spend the time? Why give them free advice and information? And what is this ultimately given back to you being on this many councils?
Yeah, no, that's a really good question. I do get asked this a lot, especially when people are trying to decide if they want to get started kind of in the council space. Like, what's the give and take, kind of a value piece? For me, there's a couple of different things that I've always gotten benefit from. And that's truly, it's one of the best places to be able to connect with really brilliant people, whether it's from the software companies or it's other accountants. Like, just the people you get to be around is like truly one of my favorite parts of all of it. Like, you get to share and rub shoulders with people who have same size firms as you, come from mega firms, like are just getting started, are managers, directors, and they're all in different paths. And so you get to have some really, really, really cool conversations and experiences and get different perspectives on how to do things. From my piece though, like, I'm always trying to figure out what the best way is to provide the best quality service for my clients. And technology is a part of it and has been a part of it for a really, really long time. Ever since we kind of transitioned from being in office with our clients in Salt Lake to where we moved them all to a kind of a virtual hosted environment before moving into online, QuickBooks and Xero and things like that. Technology has been a critical part of each of those pieces. And honestly, technology doesn't always work perfectly for an accounting firm or for our clients. And so my take was always, if there's any advice I can give or context I can share that will help us to be able to get product that's better for both pieces, like I win, like, and my clients win, and we all win in that aspect. In a lot of cases, I think it's just snowballed. I mean, when I first got started, it was just really Intuit was the first kind of pass. I got passed on the first round when I went through it, and had someone kind of sneak me in on the second round. But truly, it's just being able to understand that, but also give some context and try to get back to the industry that honestly has given me so much. It's been awesome. So that's part of the reason why I still continue to do it.
First of all, I'd like to state for the record that Tyler and I know nothing about sneaking into Intuit things. Second of all,
you're going to get us banned if you tell that story.
Oh, just wait. Second of all, which one's your favorite? No, I'm kidding. You don't have to answer.
That's a good question. Yeah. Well, it's a good question because every council is very different in what their intent is, right? Like and this is a question I get asked all the time too, especially from software companies trying to set up their own councils. And my question always is like, what do you want out of it? There's some who do councils for the intent of actually just highlighting some of their key partners. These are people we love. We want to bring them in, show them some cool things we're doing, and really just wine and dine them for a day and just show our gratitude for what's going on with it. And there's others where it's like anybody who's worked with on or been a part of Intuit's council or has looked into it, it's probably one of the most grueling councils to be in because you are from start of the day to the end of the day, constant busy on product. I mean, they've got 27,000 products they're developing on an ongoing basis. And so you're going through all this stuff for 3 days straight, deep dive into everything. Like it's taxing on you. Now you get paid to be there. So it's convenient from that side, which is really, really nice. But man, it's a lot to navigate and go through and try to be on because they have new project managers and new people showing up every hour or every hour and a half. And you got to switch topics and switch subjects and move into the next piece. And so it's a very different environment to navigate through, but and they all kind of do different things, which is always kind of fun with it as well too. Right now, everybody's trying to bring you to their headquarters, which is really interesting. So seeing a lot of those and getting to interact with a lot of their other team members, which has been really cool.
That does sound cool. Yeah.
So hopefully you and I get to go to Toronto then sometime in the next year.
Yes.
Let's do
Yusuf,
it, man.
That's our big question, Yusuf. Like, let's figure this out. Like you're American, you provide services to American people, but you're a Canadian company. Let's get to home base. Like
when Relay gets tagged in the notes for this and they're like, ooh, what did they say about us? It's you and me pleading Yusuf for a trip.
Yeah. Let's go.
All right. Next question. At what age does a child become too old to claim under the child tax credit? You said 26. Sorry.
It's going to be 18, isn't it? And 26 is for health insurance.
Yeah, there's different rules as far as like claiming as dependents, because that's when they're in school. But to get the child tax credit, they have to be under 17 at the end of the tax year. And I bring that up because I think someone's losing some tax credits here.
I lose a tax credit this
very
year.
soon. Yeah. Your boy's about to go on his mission. But also, you brought him to Scaling New Heights last year. I did not know he was, what was he, 16 at the time?
Yep.
I thought
16.
he was an adult. I was really surprised. Like, what was that experience for you bringing your son to an accounting conference, and what was his experience like afterwards? Like talking about it?
No, it's so for context, my son, like I'm a pretty big guy, like big broad shoulders, relatively normal height, everything. My son's got me beat by 3 inches now, so I look up to him, and he's built just as broad as I am, and so when people see him, he does look like a full-on grown adult in every aspect. Bringing him to Scaling New Heights was actually a really cool experience. My son has always been kind of a quiet, shy person, and as we've interacted together at conferences, like it's busy. Like you're going to sessions, you got people you want to meet with, you have conversations, and 16-year-old's not interested in going and learning about every one of these things, or even listening to his dad talk. in sessions or things like that. And so it was really cool just to see him be able to walk around and interact and kind of learn about some different things as he went through it. And he had some people he was comfortable with, and so he was able to kind of not have to be by me the entire time, which I think was really cool. But his favorite part, of course, was swag. He loved the swag game, like being able to navigate the floor and pick up things. But some of the big, actually, like professional things that he brought back was the context of actual professionalism, and how when like it, as an accountant, a lot of times we get this like stuffy personality kind of response and context around who we are. In a lot of cases, he got a chance to actually see people interact in a very different light. And it wasn't in drunken stupors or anything like that, but it was just people who are just interested in really different things that come from different walks of life. And it was kind of exciting to see him like bring that context back and be like, wow, like I didn't think this person who's a triathlete or this would even be interested in being an accountant or navigating through this, or had like comes from tech or came from manufacturing or something, and now is like in this space. So those were the kind of things that I think he took the biggest nuggets away from the event. But it was just fun to be there with him too, just to hang out and to kind of go through all that stuff.
My 15-year-old wants me to take him to all the things, and he never listens to our podcast. But now I know he's going to stumble upon this one and be like, "Yeah, Dan's on his son. You can take me." Oh, that sounds amazing.
So the one key thing, I tried to actually take him 2 years ago, and conferences actually have age restrictions. So that's one thing to look at too, because their insurance has to cover the attendees and things like that. So you have to double check and make sure before you get committed to any specific event. You want to make sure that they actually allow them to get in. So I didn't know that until I talked with them about it. But no, it's my second son is 15, and he wants to go to every event because I get to do fun things when I go to events as well. I get to eat fun food, right? Like you got vendors you get to go do activities with, or you get to wine and dine or whatever it is. And so you always get these really cool experiences. And he's a big sports guy. So he's like, when can we go to like this? Like, I don't want to go to the conference, but like, can we go to the baseball game? Like, let's. So you get a little bit of both of those, which is always fun.
Nice.
You gave me life goals for the future when my kid gets old enough.
Absolutely.
In our next question, in the movie Forrest Gump, how many legs did our favorite veteran, Lieutenant Dan, lose?
Would you like to see what Lieutenant Dan looks like?
Well, yes, I would.
That's him right there.
And I would be surprised if you got this one wrong, given it should be a 50-50. But you are correct.
However, if we were Jeopardy, you would not have gotten this because every answer is a number, and your answer was both.
That's true.
So we're being a little nice on this one. Anyway, go on.
I appreciate the grace on that one for sure.
Well, and he's our second favorite Dan, only to you, but also you, a veteran, just a seasoned veteran of the accounting industry. I'm curious, in your time, Jeremy and I, our firms are much younger. You've been in this COO partner role since 2014. What have you learned as a veteran of this industry for that long about hiring and team development that only time can teach you?
One of probably the biggest lessons that I've learned, and I had to learn this relatively pretty early, is, and it's sometimes it feels a little bit harsh, but it's not everybody is going to be with you forever. Yeah. And I think it's really hard to hear it to get started, because you're like, I love these people, we're connected, and you may have someone who's with you for 5 years and you guys have this really great rapport, but there's also opportunities that come up for those people, and there's also life-changing situations, and if you don't offer them equity, like what's going to keep them around? And so that, I think, is one of the most difficult lessons that I had to learn, is that people goals and aspirations change. And I've had probably a dozen people who have worked for me that own their own firms now, which has been some of the coolest things to watch as they've navigated through it. But man, does that honestly disrupt your like strategic path as a firm owner when you're like, this person's rock solid, I hope they're with me for eternity. And then it's like, oh, they just started this other firm and crap, now we have to figure something else out. And so that being said, I've had some great people who've been with me for over a decade who I absolutely love working with and would be deeply saddened if they left. So if they ever listen to this podcast, like, it definitely would cause some major impact, but that is a really hard lesson to learn as they've come and seen people leave as well too.
Yeah, I think, for me, the first couple people that ever left my company, I thought, what's wrong with me? And now I don't take it as personally, but it's still just like, but I would really love to keep this crew around. It's such a fun party, but I almost feel like I'm going to jinx it now with how little turnover we have.
There's good and bad to that. And I think that's one of the parts that's always interesting, especially as your firm evolves. I mean, we have gone through, like, you guys are in, I think truly you guys are in your first real big shift as your firms. I mean, if your firms have been in existence for the last about 6 years, AI is really that next big massive shift. I mean, you already started in the online space, so you didn't have to deal with desktop conversions and all those kind of things, but AI is really a major change. Like, it's going to change the way that every person interacts with client work, the way that we think, the way that we document, the way that we look at goals and aspirations and things like that. And candidly, it's hard to know who's going to want to navigate through that process and who's not. And I was talking to another firm owner actually earlier this morning, and he's telling me, he's like, I've had half a dozen people in my firm. It's a larger firm. He's like, I've had a half dozen people leave to go to older firms who aren't trying to evolve because they don't want to impact, and they're hoping they can get another 2 years, 3 years before they have to make a major shift. And so, yeah, it's a very interesting time for you guys as well, as you guys are getting started.
We just had our team retreat a couple weeks ago, and the thing I would add on to that too, and I told them, is this also changed the way we hire. Like, 100%. We are hiring different people now that will focus on tools and relationships. You need accounting knowledge, yes, but like building relationships, utilizing tools will be that focus when we're hiring people now too.
Amen. Yeah, absolutely. We had the same conversation today with my team. We're getting ready to hire another person, and yeah, I mean, you have to change and adjust the strategy and thought process. It's not just about speed anymore.
That's one of the questions we're actually going to hit on our main stage at Scaling, which just happened by the time this episode drops. So this will drop right after we all get back. So there'll be a recording out there to go find everyone.
Either it went really well and a lot of people are going to hear this than we normally have, or it went really bad and nobody's
no one's listening to it.
Either way, people are going to listen to this episode because they loved what they heard and want to experience it, or they'll be like, okay, that was so bad. Like, what other train wrecks are out there?
Ooh, so, good call.
Yeah. Next question. How many inches are there between rungs on a standard ladder? Again, we were at the mercy of ChatGPT, Google, and Copilot when the answer that came out was 12 inches. Dan, I'm sorry you're wrong, but you did go through that experience of climbing the ladder in your company, starting as a bookkeeper in what, 08? Was that right? Yeah. If I read? Yeah. And climbing up to manager, to COO, to eventually partner. Like, for those that want to follow your journey of they're starting in a firm and eventually they do want to be part owner, what would you advise to those also wanting to climb the ladder?
Yeah. For clarification, firm started in 08. I started in 2010. So, but yes, okay. For me, I think the part, especially for people who are just getting started in their experience or are thinking about their next promotion or where they should go, the biggest part for me, I think, is honestly, I found the things that I loved to do. And I think that was the part that helped me the most in kind of taking that next big leap into things. Like, I love looking at information and trying to figure out how to organize it. Like, that is probably like my favorite thing to do, is just this jumbled mess and try to figure out how to navigate through it. And for me, the COO role made so much sense to navigate towards, because that's really a lot of what it is. It's taking jumbled mess and trying to figure out how to get to the best net result, and what pieces and systems and process we have to change as we go through it. And so being able to find that quickly really helped me to be able to navigate the direction that I wanted to go. Being a part of a smaller firm also helped me to be able to take bigger risks and leaps at that part of the time. And I was able to add enough value very quickly in my firm to be able to continue to grow with it as we kind of navigated through. But I think for anybody who's really just trying to get started or is looking for that next kind of opportunity, like, you really need to find out something that, like, not only things you love, but what is it that your firm needs? And is the firm that you're in right now actually the right fit for you to deliver both of those two pieces, or is there another organization that you need to look at in order to be able to start that evolution? And like we just talked about with when it comes to your development and the type of people we're looking to hire now versus what we've had before, that's a part of that learning exercise you're going to have to go through too, is like, am I ready for that next leap, and do I love this as much as what I did before, and can I adopt it fast and quickly and navigate through it? And so, I mean, right now, anybody who's looking into opportunities, like, the sooner you can understand how AI systems communicate with each other and navigate through data sets and all that kind of stuff, like, you're only going to be in a better position as a professional, but also as a potential leader in your organization.
I asked this because looking at your timeline of eventually getting to partner, I think a lot of people don't have the patience that you did to climb into each of those roles. Like, do you feel you could have done that in any other firm faster if you would have jumped around, or do you think that was the right route for you?
You know, I'm a really risk adverse person. So like when it comes to like making sure my family's taken care of, like, I'm the type of person who, like, I double, triple that, down on every aspect of things, but I'm also I'm a serial learner. So like for me, like I can't learn enough. I can't absorb enough context. And so both of those things really helped a lot as our firm was growing and as it was kind of navigating through things, because there was times where it was really hard. Like, I mean, when I first started, we had a couple of part-time people along with me when we were navigating through it. It got down to a point where like we hit a little bit of a rough patch where there was only two of us that were working here. And so like a lot more pressure came back on me as a part of that, as we were kind of navigating through the development of what was going on. And so, I mean, that I think is a big part of this as well too, is like, you have to also understand what it's going to take to get to that next level in piece. And one of my partners and I kind of joke quite a bit around this, where he's like, the first 10 years of your career was actually probably closer to 20 years of a career based on how much time you actually worked. And candidly, I was working like for almost a decade. I was working 70 to 80 hours a week, which pretty consistent. And so it was, you learn quickly when you're putting that much time into something and it's so absorbed into your life. Probably wouldn't have had that same opportunity, honestly, at another firm to navigate in the way that I had. Also, our firm was never set up to be directed around like a book of business, which is what most firms are structured around. And so that was one of the parts I always looked at as well too, is kind of do I want to start over and going to another firm as well? Because I'm not bringing clients with me, I'm bringing me. And when you go to another firm, if you don't have that value asset, especially if you're trying to come in as a partner, like, you just bring you. And so there's less that you can offer to the firm as it's starting to grow and develop, especially just with the way that our structure of firms are right now.
Such great insight. Dan, I don't want to steal too much of your time, so I'm going to keep it moving. A typical bachelor's degree from most U.S. universities require how many credit hours to complete your degree? You correctly said 120 hours. Mm-hmm. And I'm asking you about this because, I mean, you conquered a firm, and now Professor Dan, like, students can get their credit hours from Professor Dan. What's going on here? Like, you're teaching now. How did you get into this, and why?
So I think we're going on, is it 2 years or 3 years ago? It's at Scaling New Heights. I got introduced to Professor David Waite from Utah Valley University. And
great guy.
He wanted to create a new type of course that would honestly better help his students to find jobs. Felt like it was kind of missing an area, and education has always been something that I've been very, very interested in. Actually, when I first started going to college, I thought about becoming a professor or a teacher. And so like I started some initial classes with it. And so it's really always been a part of me in that space. And so just being able to interact with someone who was so eager to try to better prepare students, like it was one of those parts where like you can't not be a part of something that is that exciting, and honestly kind of going back to the software piece, like giving back in that same piece. And so I've had a chance to teach a couple of courses at the university. We created our own really CAS-based technology, or CAS-based education, which is really cool. There's 2 now required courses at the university that are really built around how you actually interact and live inside a client's file, how you communicate with them, how you do the numbers, how you navigate. I mean, so it's just a really cool thing to be a part of. And candidly, it's just exciting to be able to see a change that's happening in education. Because education, I mean, we talk about sometimes about trying to change clients' thought process on things. Like education is one of the most difficult like areas ever to navigate through, because everything has to be proven. Like there has to be a value proposition and everything, and it has to show proof and value. And well, how do you prove that if you don't have the opportunity to actually start navigating through it? And so the school just got really lucky with a really great dean and a really great director of the program, and just we're very eager to support it. And so to me, it's just been so much fun.
Well, and then you bring out, people like Ted Callahan back when he's running accountant partner channel at Intuit. Like you're bringing Intuit uppy-ups to small Utah universities. Like, way to go, Dan.
Yeah, no, it's well, and that's the part that's been really cool with it too over the last year is there's a lot of organizations like Intuit, like the AICPA, like CPA.com, like Ramp. I mean, even Mercury has been a part of some program stuff with us as well at UVU as well too. Like they're all interested in impacting the future. And it's not just the future of accounting, but it's future people who potentially will interact with their product, or people who are going to come into working in this space. And you just get a really cool, great opportunity to be able to rub shoulders with just some, again, really brilliant people who are just excited just as much as you are to help in some way, shape, or form. And UVU actually now has a partnership with Intuit, which has been really cool. They're sponsoring our lab that's been created, that's being managed by Brittany Brown, where students have the ability to come in and get direct support, not only on their assignments that they're working on, but also clients that they have for themselves, and can get really good structured support around that piece. And so they're getting kind of that dual aspect of work experience if they have customers and things like that too. So it's really cool to be able to have that kind of deep partnership.
You're out of our league.
Well, and it totally makes sense too, right? Like you wouldn't think about a trade. You wouldn't hire a welder if he hadn't actually went and welded something. You get all this
100%.
theory when you get accounting degrees, but very little like hands-on do the thing. So I think that's
Absolutely.
a great development.
Yeah.
Few more questions, Dan, to cover. A standard piece of plywood comes in how many feet long? You quickly and easily said 8 feet. And rumor has it, you're a woodworker too? Heard this through the grapevine?
Yeah. So education was one of the first things that I was going to go into. But I initially, before that, my brother's a Finnish carpenter by trade. And we both kind of fell into the love of cabinetry and woodworking when we were in high school. And I always kind of thought he and I were going to work together. And so I've kind of kept that as a hobby and thing. And my son, who actually ended up going to Scaling New Heights, like that's what he wants to be. And so my entire garage is full of woodworking tools and things. And so, yeah, we get a chance periodically to be able to get out there and build and create. And it's a nice escape from things, because you get to interact with something that's just very, very different. You get to see it mold and change into what you're working on. So yeah, love it. Wood turning.
We'll have to play. We'll have to play together.
Awesome. That's great.
All right. Next question. Oh, Dan, that should be our next business. Let's sell our firms, and then you and I can open the woodworking, the manufacturing.
Trades is where it's at. Trades is where
it's
it's
at. Man.
Do you both have all fingers?
Or now?
All fingers.
Okay.
Yeah, my hands are now soft though from typing all the time. So I gotta get my calluses back. So
yeah, right.
Second to last question, and dare I say where we'll end, because the last question was just to prove you were Utahn, and yes, you got that one correct. But how many pancakes in a short stack? Man, I mean, you got it right with 3. How many in a tall stack? Just curious.
It should be 6, right? It should be double up of what's going on.
Quick search said 5, but we'll give you points for the 3 because that's what we asked. And I mean, not the stack we're here to talk about, but dude, you and I got to connect over Ramp in their latest product, Stack, which dare I also say is our segue into halftime. Let me ask you something. You down with MCP? Yeah, you know me. And so is Double. Yes, Double has just released their new MCP, or Model Context Protocol, which for nerds, that's how you connect your favorite AI bot to your platform of Double to be able to triage and instantly transform your experience with your client portal into the most revolutionary task management system. Want summaries of client workflows, open task, team performance? You are limited by your own imagination right inside your Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, or Copilot. So head on over to doublehq.com, give them a try, because this new MCP is going to change the way you run your firm. And better yet, don't use MCPs? Great, they just rolled out Ask Double, your own chatbot with Inside Double to execute tasks, perform work, and make your life simpler. doublehq.com and tell them the guys at UnAccountable sent you. Yes, this is the part of the episode where we break down a new app or tool, and it just so happens that we're covering this week Ramp Stack. Now, you and I connected because you're on Ramp's Partner Council. I've been playing with this tool for a couple months, and most people, because it only got released the first week of June, don't even know what it is. So multiple questions, Dan, but first off, can you explain Ramp Stack to both our listeners? And then also, what has this meant for your firm just with what you've been playing with it over the last few weeks and months?
Yeah, I think one of probably the easiest way to explain it is that Ramp has created an environment for you to connect your financials to it, whether it's right now it's through QBO. They're going to be quickly adding other GLs kind of going into the future, but it's the ability to be able to connect AI and agents directly to it for it to perform specific tasks for you, whether that's creating journal entries or helping you navigate through account reconciliations with automations and things along those lines. It's really about being that next set of enhancement for an accounting firm employee, not to replace those individuals. And so it's actually directly only built for accounting firms. It's not built and not released to anybody outside of that as of this point in time. And so it's just a really great tool that's starting to give you that next edge and that next level of how accountants can become more efficient, but also more accurate in the things that they do. And I think that's one of the parts that has been, I think it's always critical. When we talk about software, we always hear a lot about efficiency. How can we get faster? How can we get more revenue into each individual person? But I think the one part that has really been opening my mind to when I think about like Ramp Stack and this direction that things are going is think about how much time we spend through the entire accounting cycle. And what I mean by that is how much time do we spend on a manager review? How much time do we spend doing a diagnostics? How much time do we spend going in and doing confirmation before financial statements go out? And all of that's to verify something that already happened before. In every step, right? It's about verifying. Tax returns, same context. It's all about verification, all about confirmation and navigation in all those spaces. What if the transaction goes where it's supposed to the first time? And it gets there because of policies and rules and structure and recommendations and this ideology of what the type of entity is, what the organization structure is, what you've done historically. If it's a new transaction, how does it relate to the rest of your business? Like the fact that it's addressing it in that mindset at the beginning, and you have people who are making sure that it's, testing it and making sure it's getting where it needs to be, actually is going to help us to be able to cut down on all the rest of the time. Because now we don't have to verify. We don't have to double check. We don't have to reconfirm. We don't have to navigate through, did we double book this or do we do this? Like there's that confirmation is going to come so much faster and so much more accurately, which allows us to be much more timely to our clients, which to me, I think is one of the most valuable parts of these tools like Ramp Stack from that perspective is that's the direction that it's going to be able to take a firm to. We've been talking about advisory for the last umpteen years at every conference that we go to. Like this is actually, to me, one of the first real ways that we're going to see the ability to get time to actually do that. It's the first time we're going to be able to provide advisory services in different ways. It's not just going to be some financial CFO aspect. It could be operational. How do we get information into the system better so that it can do a better job in getting us those financial metrics and context so we can make better decisions? How can we now integrate systems that we never would have thought to integrate with it, like pulling in lead generation from HubSpot and how that's navigating against your marketing spend and how that's relating to what your close rate is and what your ROI is on your entire life cycle. Like those are valuable things we're going to be able to start adding to our clients' lives as these tools continue to develop. So for me, that's the part that I get the most excited about with tools like RampStack, is the fact that we're actually start at the gateway of being able to start navigating through that without having to spend 100 hours and custom building every little thing to try to figure out how to provide that information to our customers.
I will say, in my time playing with it, like the biggest win we've seen at our team is it's not a replacement for intelligent employees. And there's work in your firm that is super complex, is what you would say. Like, it's complex work because it requires a lot of accounting knowledge. There's also complex work where it's just, you have to have the ability to hold a bunch of concepts in your head, a lot of math, like merchant deposit clearing accounts, where like it's like 9 transactions going back and you're figuring that out. That latter version, where it's just still simple math, but it's just a lot of context to hold in your brain, and that's why you usually goes to higher level reviewers. That's where I'm just talking with the bot and being like, look for this, try it. It gets it 90% of the way. I'm like, oh, you made this mistake, try it again. And it can do what you would be sending back to an employee for 3-4 revisions, except its revisions take 2 minutes until it gets it right, and then it never gets it wrong going forward.
Absolutely.
That's where I think the wins have been.
Well, and I think to your point with that too, it also starts to put in that repetitive context around areas that should be repetitive. I mean, for the longest time, we've all been trying to, every accountant has been trying to add some sort of workflow or consistency or continuity or standardization for, how to operate in our firms. Well, these kind of things actually help enforce that standardization, because in order to get the output you just talked about, you have to have inputs in the right format. The part that I love about what these tools in a lot of cases are doing is the fact that you actually have to be the person who tells it to do that. And if something changes in the business or something changes in the way the data is coming in, you're the update, you're the confirmation, you're the accurate, piece. And so kind of also going back to the question you had about kind of goals of where people need to be moving and how you start to prepare that next leap. Like, to me, that's where our accountant role is going to be going forward, is how do we understand how, can we understand how data is coming into the system? How do we then organize it so we can get really good information out of that detail to be able to have a conversation with our client? How does it reconcile? How does it manage? Like, all those things that we've spent so many years trying to focus on, trying to create solutions for, the system gets to do it so that we can have the conversation, we can verify, we can tell the client, well, now this is what's happening in your business, and this is how you can grow and navigate going forward. So to me, it's really, really exciting.
Well, anyone who wants to try out RampStack, I mean, first of all, they're giving it for free. I mean, they'll probably smack me for it, but I mean, that's the principle, right? Like, if you got good stuff on the streets, you give out free doses to get them hooked. So now through September, get in there and play with it. Hook up the books for free, start playing with it, try it out before it becomes a paid product, and see what you can learn, do, and if it makes sense for you. Because once they roll out that pricing, you're going to do the math of, is it saving that many hours of employee work? Maybe it's worth it not. So it's for free between now and then. Couple other quick things I will highlight that I absolutely love, because Dan, I know we're keeping you long, but my favorite improvement they made while we were beta testing the product is, originally all the skills and workflows I built were visible to the client. And I said, hey guys, I can't build everything out just for my client to say, oh, cool, look, your entire brain is here. Now I don't need you. I'm going to run it all. And they built a partition where the firm side now holds all your skills knowledge that is not seen by the client. Very quickly, they took that feedback and understood that this was our intellectual property, and they were helping build our firms, not replace us.
Yeah. No, I love that point. And honestly, in our last advisory council that we had with Ramp was focused, one of the big sessions we had was focused around that, and what your value proposition is to your clients and to your organization and to the customers that you're navigating through. And candidly, that's one of the areas, like our IP, our ways of doing things, really should be ours in that context, because that's what our customers are buying, right? They're buying our systems, our workflows, our ideology and navigation through it. Historically, that information has just stayed with whatever tool we used when they left. And so this does get to be that space where, like, this creates an opportunity for firms to actually own what they do. And I think that it's really cool to be able to have that opportunity as well, to where you can refine it and define it and keep it to be what your firm is, to make your firm unique and what types of services and structures you offer to your customers.
Sir, you're brilliant, as always. And might I say, 7 out of 10, 6.5 out of 10, depending on how we want to score both of Dan's legs. Well done, sir. Dan Luthi, the serial learner, unlike Jeremy, who serial is with a C. Anything else that you want to tell us just about where they can find you, connect with you, see you coming up? Anything else before we let you out the door?
Yeah, honestly, best place to track me down is on LinkedIn. That's I monitor it pretty good from that perspective. Not always the greatest in response on chats, but definitely getting better at that. Conferences, I'm taking a little bit of a break this summer, which has been a little bit unique for me from presenting. But through LinkedIn is going to be the best way. But I will say, truly, anytime you can listen to guys like you who are asking good questions about how to perform and encourage other new owners or people who are just getting started or managers, whatever it is, just to start thinking outside of the box that they're in. I mean, we need to be starting to direct our minds in that direction. And so kudos to the two of you for taking a unorthodox approach to it. I mean, truly, I think it's exciting to be able to have the ability to navigate through it from that way and hear different perspectives. And so, keep it up, and people who are interested, like just be learning constantly. It's the best way to navigate through life.
Dan Luthi, thank you so much, sir.
No problem.
I friggin' love Dan. One of the best guys, and he's local to me. So we occasionally meet up with different software. We only meet up when software vendors are buying us dinner or a round of golf or something. But, good to have local friends.
That's right.
All right, Jeremy, we got time for one more quick game. And this one has actually been bumped several weeks in a row. But I'm excited to ask you this question because this was inspired all the way when we were back at GrowCon. And our friends over at Anchor gave us these nice little toys. These little Pomodoro clocks.
Elon, thank you. It was fantastic.
Yeah. And we had conversations about how do you structure your time. And so, Jeremy, I wanted to ask you about time management today and get a few ideas from you. You up for it?
This is not the week to ask me that, but let's do it.
All right. Well, because I'm awful at teeing up games, this time management strategy works by setting a timer, for example, 25 minutes on a task, and then immediately taking a 5-minute break. Is it the Pareto principle, the Pomodoro method, Parkinson's law, or the pumpernickel priority?
Pareto, I believe, is that one. No? Oh.
I just gave it to you. It's the Pomodoro method. The Pareto principle is more famously known as the 80-20 rule.
80-20 rule, yes. Okay.
Yes.
I told you this was not the week to talk about time management. I'm just going to put that out there, but let's go.
That's fair.
Yeah.
If you guys go to any of the conferences, well, sorry, you just missed Scaling New Heights if you're listening to this. But what I will say is they gave out these fun little clocks that if you set it on whatever side number is up, it'll start a little clock for you. And it's really one of those good methods where you just say, okay, I'm just going to set a timer and I'm just going to commit to myself. I'm going to work until it goes off. Like, I know I need a break, but if you just tell yourself there's a finish line and just go until it tells you get your break, it really works. And it's been a fun method. Now, you don't need a fancy little gizmo clock. You could do this with your phone. There are some great apps for it. I think even Apple is starting to roll out updates to build it in. You could do it in your Shortcuts app. But the whole point here is like eliminate decision fatigue of just saying, here's what you're doing for how long. And you've got to be ready to abandon ship when that task is done and move on to the next thing. But could be a good method for you to try since it sounds like you're struggling with that this week.
Yeah, right. And I've been trying to do this a little bit, at least, and putting it out there. And again, if you don't have one of these, you can even just Google 30-minute timer and it brings one right up on your screen. You can make it super easy. But it has been beneficial where it's like, I know this is my window and I'm going to knock whatever I can out. And then the thing that I struggle with at that point is putting it down, right? So like, give yourself a clear stopping point. Here's how far I got. This is the next thought you need to go with. So when you get time to pick it back up, you can hit the ground running.
Absolutely. Question 2, Jeremy. This method of time management requires you do the hardest, most important task first thing in the day. Is it the eat the frog method, the bite the bullet method, the swallow the moth method, or the kill the kraken method?
I hope it's bite the bullet.
It's called the eat the frog, apparently. You do the hardest thing you can in your list. I'm really proud because I did not use AI to come up with these wrong answers. I'm feeling pretty good about what I wrote here. But yes, they call it the eat the frog method, which is, you wake up, you have the most momentum for the day. So you knock out the hardest thing first and reduce the stress for the rest of the day. So they recommend you should define your frog the night before. What's going to be the grossest, hardest thing to eat the next day? Pick it first the night before, wake up, eat the frog.
Why a frog? I don't get it. Oh, all right.
Yeah. I like the kill the Kraken I came up with. Come on, alliterate.
I like that one too, but I could see through that one. I thought bite the bullet made the most sense. Like, let's do it. Yeah.
All right. Let's avoid the shutout, Jeremy, because I thought you were going to get number one right. Brilliantly named after its principle, this method recommends identifying the 3 priority tasks for the day and finishing those first. Is it the triad approach, the ABC method, the daily top 3 method, or the get her done philosophy?
Principle with ending in LE, not AL, correct?
Yes, correct.
All right.
Just like your cereal.
Oh, yes. I'm going to get this wrong too. ABC. There it is. Perfect.
It is the brilliantly named after its principle, the daily top 3 method. And this is actually one thing we do in our firm. So we, I've told you we have morning lineup 2 days a week. Tuesdays, someone presents about a new tool they're using, a new client they have, just a new process they figured out for 10 minutes. And then we go around the room real quick and just give our top 3. What 3 things would we consider today a success if we knock those 3 things out? So we list our top 3 priorities. And I try to list those out first thing I sit down. So I don't just get bogged down of what was I going to get done today? It's okay, if I can cross off those 3, it's great. It's almost like a more ambitious version of the frog.
Yeah. And I think, again, we as humans just gravitate towards 3s. I think I not as formally, but informally do this in my brain every day when I'm kind of getting up and working out or whatever. Is this is the list today. If we do that, anything else, great, that's gravy. But these are the 3 things. If I knock it out, I feel pretty good at the end of the day.
Oh, I write it down, whether it's on my iPad with the little notes app. I've got a list I'm constantly crossing off, or I'm in Notion and I've got my list, but I pick my 3 and it's if I could do that, today's successful. And man, it makes all the difference. All right, Jeremy, we're getting close. You got 2 left. This method is made up of dividing your calendar into pre-planned chunks of time assigned to specific tasks. Is it time chunking, time blocking, time stacking, or calendar wishing?
Time blocking. Come on, give me one. Yes.
He avoids it. And yes, time blocking. This shouldn't be news to many of you. I'll be honest. This is a really big deal in my company. Not necessarily even saying, "Hey, I'm going to do this task," but we have blocked out my calendar. I say we because my assistant runs my life, as you know.
Yeah.
But at this point, it is Tuesday, Thursdays. We block out nothing but client meetings. Fridays, I work on promotional stuff, firm foundation, all of that. Mondays, I've got time to just create. And we block out just what I'm doing, kind of what's my vibe for the day, so that I can have those free set aside times to work on just certain types of tasks weekly. Do you do this at all?
I again, do this informally. And I used to be way better at this, is I would just block thinking time, right? And I forget the book that's from. God, I've read it twice.
6 of them out there.
Yeah, there's probably a whole bunch of them, right? Where it's nope, schedule 2 hours, 3 hours, half a day, whatever it is, just thinking time to be able to do things. But no, super valuable. I know I have preached this to my team too, is block off your calendar for focusing on things. And I know they've been very appreciative of that. Even their boss tries not to infringe upon that time.
Yeah, it's a tough one, but definitely a good skill. Jeremy, we got one question left.
Okay.
This method has the user break all the tasks into 4 categories based on if it's either important or not important, or urgent and not urgent. Is this the Eisenhower matrix, the Vaden prioritization method, the 4-square principle, or the up and out method?
I love me a good matrix, but feel like I'm still going to get this wrong. I'm going to go Eisenhower method.
You threw them together. The Eisenhower matrix. Yes, I'm going to give it to you.
Yeah.
Both you, Lieutenant Dan's legs.
I never thanked you for saving my life.
He never actually said so.
Yes, the Eisenhower matrix. And this is a great little principle of just, you've got 4 squares. And, top left is urgent and important. Top right is not urgent, but important. Bottom row is urgent and important, but you've got urgent and not urgent, but it's important and not important. And breaking that down can really help fix things, because if it's not important and it's not urgent, like it's not time sensitive, it needs to go, period. The problem that comes into our life is usually the things that are not important, but they're urgent. And so we jump on them because they need to be done quick, but it's actually not important to do, but we jump on it because time sensitivity feels like an issue. So how do you get rid of those? How do you schedule out the things that are not urgent, but important, and then really prioritize the urgent and important? Great little task exercise to do if you got to list out hundreds of things to knock out.
Yeah, totally agree. And pick what works for you, right? But start working on one of them if you're in a Jeremy space right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
2 out of 5, Jeremy. Well done. And let's close this thing out. Who's our winner of the week?
Going to stick with some of the theme, right? AI. So a new venture-backed CPA firm called Oath, just started by former PCAOB member Christina Ho, who I guess was a bit of a detractor from a lot of the principles in the PCAOB. But she is starting a firm aiming to automate 80% of audit work that they do with this new firm, which I know we've talked about. I feel like that is one of the hardest things to probably leverage AI on. Granted, I don't do audits, but there's a lot of detail work, which I think it would go with, but there's also a lot of different changing rules all the time with audit standards and things that come out there. So I was cool to see that. Also, maybe terrifying. Also would be nice if the audit fees would go down a little bit with this in place, but we'll see.
Just a bit.
And
for our loser?
Loser of the week, Hub Group. This is a transportation and logistics company. They announced they had a $77 million accounting error where they understated transportation and accounts payable. So need to restate at least 3 years of financials. The CFO and the COO are both out, bringing in somebody new. Yeah, $77 million. That's not a rounding error. This is not immaterial. It's like someone had their Excel and decided to just go off the rails.
What? Okay, so it couldn't have been an expense, because otherwise it's on the bank account and you definitely should have it. So it's what? Accounts payable, either they just never had bills and accrued for it, and so they just left it off. I don't even know. But Jeremy, this just frustrates me that we still have these issues these days.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
All right, well, fantastic episode. Next time, no Tyler. You and Beth run in this show, and then the time after that, no Jeremy, me and Jaime run in this show. So, 6 weeks till you and I are back together, man.
We're going to need to have a very long hug before we leave scaling next week.
Absolutely. Well, Jeremy, time to make a tortilla and wrap it up. See you next time. And there we go. Let's be honest, most of us didn't become bookkeepers or accountants to spend hours learning marketing systems and chasing leads. Heck, some of us became accountants because we didn't want to talk to people. We did it also to serve clients and build businesses we love. But what if you could get better clients without the marketing overwhelm? Well, that's exactly what Keepable does. It's an all-in-one marketing system built specifically for bookkeepers and accountants. And it works 24/7 behind the scenes to bring in leads, book consultations, and automate follow-ups. You get a professional website, branded consultation page, and follow-up automations all tailored to your business. No more duct taping tools together or hiring expensive marketing teams. If you want to grow your firm with ease and attract better clients without doing more work, go check out Keepable today at keepable.com or follow the link in the show notes to give us a little bit of extra credit with the folks over at Keepable.